Hey everyone, welcome. This is a little different video than you are used to for Tuesday at 2. I am not live. I pre-recorded this video because I am having surgery on my wrist today. And I wanted to make sure that I still had content for you, and I already had this one scheduled as what I was going to do today anyway. This is my monthly card class, my Stamp and Create for July, which was held not yesterday, but the week before on Saturday, the 19th. And so there is an inspiration sheet with measurements and a supply list. And then you'll have this video that you can refer back to as well. Now, you can get the 4 cards that I'm going to demonstrate with you today with a $60 order, $60 before tax and shipping. And you must make sure that once you apply any Stampin' Rewards that you want to use, that your total is still $60 with me before the tax and the shipping. I will leave a link in the description for all the things that you need to know. And with that purchase, you'll get the card kit sent to you in the mail. And you will also get the inspiration sheet emailed to you. So I appreciate you watching me today, and leave me a comment. Let me know which card was your favorite. So we did 4 cards. We did 2 techniques and 2 fun folds. And we're going to start off with one of the prettiest cards that it's going to be one of my all-time favorites. So this is using the Coneflower Celebrations. This is part of a bundle, but we just used the stamp set today. And I seriously love this one that says, "I love that I've known you for so many birthdays." I have a few special people in my life that I can send that to, that it's very appropriate. And I love coneflowers. So I've got everything on blocks. I've got my inks ready. We're going to be using my memento pad that I made, Melon Mambo and Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to show you how to get this cool ombre effect just using 2 ink colors. So we're going to set that off in the corner. And so your packet will come like this. This is the first card. And we'll leave this off to the side. You've got a piece for the inside. And this is what we're going to use for the outside. So I'm going to set this up. Now, everything is going to be a little angled for me just because of my mobility issues here with my wrist. So I'm just going to use some of our grid paper, and I'm going to line it up. Now, this is old grid paper from our stamp positioning tool that we had, but you can use anything that has grid paper. We tried to use the Stampin' Up! Masking paper, and I don't know what happened, but it was an epic fail. It ripped people's papers. It just wasn't very easy to use. So I might have to do some research on that before it's a product that I can tell you that I love using and that I'm going to continue to use. For now, I just have Post-it note tape, and you can find this in a big roll on Amazon. Yeah, so if you need a link for that, let me know. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over, and I want to make sure that I'm going off both ends of the card like that. And I'm going to press that down. And then now on this side, I want to come in. I want this to be, let me measure it. I know how far I'm going to come in, but let me measure. You can make this panel any width you want. I did mine was about just shy of 2¼ inches. So what I did was I came in 2, and then I came in 5 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm gonna just lay that down. I'm lining it up with the lines on the grid paper so that I'm gonna get that nice crisp straight line. Now what you also want to do is cover up this part that's exposed, just in case your blending brush happens to get ink over on that side. You want to make sure that it's covered. So just make sure that that part's overlapping. All right. So now what we're going to do is, here we have like the sun. This would be the sunrise because the sun is at the top. If you want it to be sunset, you would start with the pink at the top and go down into So let's do it that way this time. So I'm going to start with my yellow, and this time I'm going to do it at the bottom. And so I've just got our one of our blending brushes. We also have small ones. This just happens to be what I have. And I'm just going to lightly rub the brush on my ink pad. And I do kind of want to rub some of it off so we don't get that harsh color. And I'm just going to start brushing this on. Okay, and then you can come back in and you're going to pick up a little more ink, and I could probably start down here. So I just don't want that big splotch on my card. So once I've got some of that off, then I'm just going to come up and I'm just going to keep adding color. And you probably want to do more of a circular motion. So it's a little difficult for me. Wasn't planning on this injury. Let's see. So I'm kind of moving my whole arm rather than just my wrist. I'm still trying to go in like a circular motion. Okay, so I went up about, not quite halfway. And we can come back in and add more color if we want to. I'm going to move my card out of the way for just a minute and leave that off to the side. I'm going to bring in Melon Mambo. Oh, let's see if I can, that is a little easier. Okay. And now I'm going to turn this just because I think it's going to be a little easier for me. I don't want to get my card messed up because I really want to be able to use that card. And I've got a little more space right here, so I'm just going to kind of brush some of that off. See that initial dark? I don't want that on my card. That's why I'm brushing some of the ink off. And then we're going to come in from what will be the top and do the same thing. So I'm going to add a little more ink, brush a little bit of it off, and then you just keep doing this till you get it as dark as you want. And then as the pink starts to mix in, blend in with the yellow, that's how you're going to get that third color, that orangey color. So pretty. All right, so we're going to add a little bit more because I want a little deeper color at the top. And then I'm just going to keep bringing it down into the middle to meet that yellow. And then you can do it as dark as you want. Up near the top, I think I do want it darker, and then it kind of gets lighter as it goes down. Okay, and then we're going to switch back to the daffodil. Grab some more ink, and we'll just rub it off a little bit. And then now I'm going to come back in and go up to that pink, and you can really see that orange starting to come through as those colors start to mix. And so you can do this as much as you want until you get a color that you're happy with. You can also just kind of oops, these little things keep popping off. My friend Lisa, who makes the awesome glue holder that I always tell you guys about, might be able to work on getting us some little, they're just markers to denote what color the brush is, because I don't have a brush for every single color. There's no way I don't have any room for that. Plus I don't use every single color in a blending brush. So I just have yellow, pink, I have light blue, dark blue, green, and so on. So maybe she might come up with a system for us. Okay, so I think that I'm pretty happy with that. And at least my arm says that I am. Okay, so I'm gonna close this up and grab the other one and close it up. Oh, okay. Move these off to the side because we're done with those. And then we can, now you can't really reuse this tape. It's got all that color on it. I mean, I guess you could try, but there really is, I mean, that's wet. I wouldn't want it to transfer. So just be careful if you are going to reuse it. And we're just going to pull it off. And look how nice and crisp the line is. Let's remove this. So pretty. And that's the gist of the card. So now we're going to, so what I'm doing is I'm just taking my thumbs at the end of the ink pad, which is, I guess, the top of the ink pad. And I'm just, with my forefingers back here, I'm going to press with this part of my thumb. And it's going to pop that open. And it's a little easier if you have dexterity issues or issues of any kind. So I'm going to ink up my cone flower pretty well. I really love the way that this ink pad stamps, because it's a foam pad instead of the Memento is a linen pad, and it just doesn't work as well. I might actually go off when I do the stem, so I'm going to bring this piece back in here. But what I want to do, and again, I'm a little crooked just because of what's going on. So I'm going to put this all the way up into the corner without it going off the edge. And then we're going to just kind of press that down for just a few minutes. Let that soak in there. It's going to be so beautiful when I lift it up. Every single time, every stamping at class, every single one, you pull it up and it was just so beautiful. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, I'm going to put that back in the bucket. I'm going to bring in the stem. I'm going to pull out, I've got the two leaves, I've got the outside sentiment, and then, oh, I didn't show you, here's what we did on the inside. On here, and I have my note to remind me that the sunrise is yellow on top and the sunset is pink on top. I've already told you that. So I combined two stamps from the set, and that's what we did on the inside. Okay, so the stem, we're going to ink this up. And I'm going to try to set it right inside right here. And of course, it's a little difficult because my camera is right there. So let me just see. I'm going to do the best I can, and that's what we'll get. I think I angled it a little differently, but that's okay. I went off a little further. I turned it a little further to the right, but that's okay. I don't think I want to attempt to try and line that up. So what you can do is grab, if that bothers you that it doesn't go off, first of all, I should have angled it a little differently, but you can grab our black Stampin' Write marker. You can buy this one as a single marker, and I guess you could use a ruler. And I'm just going to come off of the edge. And I didn't do a very good job right off the bat, but that's okay. So, in case you make that, I don't want to call it a mistake, but in case it happens to you, there you go. All right, now the leaves are, this one goes off to the right. The one that is curved off to the right is the one we're going to do over here, and I'm going to try and line it up. I didn't do the best job, but I did do my best. Let's see. I should have laid that down a little longer, but it's okay. And then now our sentiment, think we can get this out of the way now. And kind of straighten this up, and I'm just going to put this right down here in the corner. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the inside piece, and I'm going to stamp "It's Your Day." Right there, and then "Celebrating You" right there underneath it. Okay. All right, let's put it together. Don't think I need that black anymore. You could also do this, I think early espresso would look nice as your card base and your ink. You could do all the inking, everything that we did in black, you could do in early espresso. Maybe I should have done that. All right, so, okay. Yeah, I can't. It hurts too much. So, we're gonna use a little tape runner here. You use whatever your adhesive of choice is. I don't typically use non-Stampin' Up! Stuff, but I don't have any seal. I placed an order during the free shipping, and I haven't received mine yet. So I ordered a bunch of adhesive, but I haven't gotten it yet. So this is what I have. All right, and then this one is just gonna go right here, and that's it. It's that simple. So there we go. So you'll have to let me know which one you like better, the sunrise or sunset. All right, so there's the first card. All right, your next card, let me grab these stamps for the cone flower and get those off to the side and bring in my next set of supplies. I've got my ink pad, a little sander. There's my stamp. Here's the card. So we're using the Sunrise Sailing bundle. So it comes with the Sunrise Sailing stamp set, and then there's dies and a hybrid embossing folder. And we just used the embossing folder. And we've used it with two-tone cardstock. And that's how you get that white. Oh shoot, did I just fling that on the floor? Okay, I heard it drop. I just dropped my piece for my sentiment. So, I'm gonna put that there. Here's my envelope. Here's the card. We didn't do anything on the inside for this one. And there it is. It fell underneath. Okay, so any of my cards, if you don't like the way that it's a tent fold like this, I personally like it because it's great for photography, but it stands up. I think it just stands up nicer. It displays nicer. And I remember growing up when, you had the cards that are like that open like a book, and then Mom would string all the Christmas cards. She would hang up a piece of ribbon or whatever and hang up all the Christmas cards. Well, then they were always hung up like this, so then they were always sideways. And yeah, I don't know where that comes from, but anyway, that's how I like to do mine. You can always turn them and do them the other way. Cut it to 8.5 by 5.5, score it at 4 1/4, and then all of the rest of the pieces will fit. Okay, so we've got Best Wishes. This is Secret Sea. And I'm going to leave a little bit on the left for my linen bow. And gosh, I love Secret Sea. I need my spray for my Stamp and Scrub. I didn't clean any of those other stamps. Shame on me. Okay. I'll get them later. All right, so let that kind of dry. So what we're gonna do is take, so this is the dark side and this is the light side of the pool party. Yeah, so here we used the light side and here I'm using the dark side. So you just need to make sure whichever side you want showing that's face up in the embossing folder. So I did this one with the dark side of the two-tone cardstock so that you could see the difference. It's all still pool party. And then I just have this little sanding block, and you're just going to sand over those raised edges as much or as little as you want. Just how much ever of that white you want coming through. So I'm going to kind of fold this a little bit and let it hit that. Yeah. And then I should have brought my little brush over here, but I didn't. So just wipe it off. Okay. So then this one, I am going to have to use liquid glue just because of that embossing. I want to make sure that there's plenty of adhesive down in all the ridges and everything. So I'm actually going to use the other end because I can get more glue out of it. And let me grab my silicone mat also. And then hopefully, and it might be the problem is that it's near empty. So let me get the gunk off and then kind of squeeze that to come out and then just run it along. So it spreads out a little easier with the broad tip. Did you guys know that you could use this other end, or that there was another end? Maybe got a little more control. It's not habit for me, but you've got a little more control with it. All right, so now let's take this and we're going to put it on this, and then I'll be able to kind of scoot it. Let me hold it up for a second. Okay. So every month I have a my monthly card class. It's called Stamp and Create, and as of right now, we do it here in San Antonio at Trilogy Pizza. And we just started doing Saturdays, and I think it's going to work out really well. Next class is going to be August 16th, and that's going to be my first Christmas card class of the year. So we added in an extra class, and then card class will be on August 30th. So make sure you're on my email list so that you can get all the information about my events to go and in person. So I'm just going to snip off the end of that at an angle. I did it the other way on the other one, but that's okay. And then I left, I think, a little too much. So we'll try it like that. And then that's going to get dimensionals. And just like that. And then let me just make sure that I've snipped off enough before I actually get it on the card. It'll be a little easier to cut off if it's not already on the card. Okay, so just a little linen thread bow, or you could just do a knot, and then that's going to go like right there on the edge. But I think I want it to be a little more, my loops to be a little bigger. Okay, and then cut off the tails. I'm going to take the backings off of the dimensionals and place this hopefully straight. There we go. Grab a glue dot. So in my classes, everything is done for you. So you've seen exactly what I'm pulling out of the packet is what your card packets look like. So where you just have to stamp and assemble. Sometimes you do have to stamp and then die cut. If it's a image like that where it has to be stamped and punched, or stamped and die cut. But I have my machine there, and I have my sweet friend Blanca that is typically there to help. There we go. There's card number 2. So this is with the lighter side of the two-tone, and then this is with the darker. So it's a subtle difference, but a difference nonetheless. There we go. All right, that's card number 2. Let's empty that bucket. All right, card number 3 is the first of 2 fun folds. We're using Sweet Bloom. Let me get this out of the way for now. And we're using, see, I've got the Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink gems. So you'll get the gems that you need to put on the front of your card, and then you'll also get the ribbon. My gems are not in my card packet just because I have this, but my ribbon is in there. So here's the card, and so it sits like this. Okay, and then you can see it from the side. So it's got this center step easel card. I don't know what to call it, but anyway, Sweet Blooms, and we're just using the hello, but then on the inside we did, oh, come on, we did have a lovely day. I love that. All right, now let's bring over, oh, and then I have my note here to remind, I promised that I would show how to tie a square knot. So, gosh, hopefully I don't forget that. All right, so here's all your pieces. This one has quite a few down in here. And sometimes you got to look in the corners of your envelope, but I think we're good with this one. I've got Strawberry Slush ink. We're not going to open that right this second. Let's get some pieces together. So here's our ribbon for the card. Here's all of our florals. I'm just going to stick these off onto my silicone mat here, right here next to me. And then this piece right here actually has adhesive sheet on it. So that's fun. These pieces are embossed for you. And then here's our label. So you've got this smaller piece with the score line. So you're just going to score this in half. Score it in half. It is scored in half. You're going to fold it in half and score it. And then now you have the larger piece. So with the 2 score lines faced away from you, you're going to fold this one over first. This becomes the inside of our card, right? And then you're going to go, so then the very next score line, you're going to go away from you again. And then with the remaining one, you're going to come back towards you. So then that gives you, this is what it should look like. So it's a mountain, valley, mountain. So we did away, away, and then back towards you. And you just want to make sure that it ends up straight, which mine is a little crooked. So now let me come in with the bone folder and really get those into place. This one's a little, I think I just folded it a little crooked. And you can just kind of force that a little. There we go. And then this one's just going to come straight down. And that one was okay. All right. So let's go ahead and stamp on the inside. I found it was a little easier. Okay, so again, we're going to push that. I'm going to grab this big Lovely and turn it upside down and bring the ink pad to it. Let me clean it because it's got something on it. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down, the stamp face up, and just ink it like this. Okay, and then this is just going to go right here in the middle. Do you guys clean up as you go, or do you save it all for the end? I've been trying to be really good about cleaning up as I go, especially with doing videos where I'm using multiple different products. I don't have that much space. All right, so now I'm inking up, still in Strawberry Slush. Have a I for sure clean up completely every night when I'm done, so that when I come back in the next day, I start with a clean slate. That is something I don't let myself get away with. Okay. And then we've got Hello, and we're going to stamp that on our cutie patootie little label. So I'm going to kind of make sure that that's straight, and then hopefully that's straight. Okay, we're going to use this ink pad for the next card, so I'm just going to leave it right here in front of me. You know what? I think we're going to use the black. Okay. All right, so let's take our embossed pieces. This is the exposed brick, so if you recreate this, obviously you can use whichever folder you want to. We're going to do the liquid glue again, and so I'm going to bring over my little mat and scooch my little pieces off. Let's see if this will help me again. I think the problem is that this glue bottle is just about empty, so let's put that off to the side and grab another one. Come on, don't I have one? Yes, I do, right here. Okay, here's another one. Now, you just have to be careful that it's going to come out. See, it's going to come out quick, and it's going to do a big old blob at first. All right, there we go. That's how it should be coming out. And then I'm not squeezing anymore. I'm just going to spread this around. And then I might squeeze a little right there and just get, kind of squeeze it and then drag it. Okay. And then this piece is going to go on whichever of this you want to be, what's going to be the front of your card. This is going to go right here. Okay, and then these pieces, let's flip them over, and let's do a little squeeze and then a drag. And just get that all. And then we're going to go ahead and cover this piece too at the same time. There we go. So I have an actual crafting injury. It's from overuse, and I'm not even going to attempt the name of the condition, but there's a sheath that grows over your tendon on the left side of your wrist, and that has to be, they have got to go in there and clip it, and that'll take care of, God, it looks kind of gnarly. I'm sorry you keep having to see that, but they're going to take care of me. All right, so I'm going to open this up just a smidge. I don't want to get this This is going to go on either side, and so you want to pay attention to your spacing. So just like you were adding a layer where you leave that 1/8 of an inch border on the top and the side, the bottom is going to be like that, so that's okay. It should line up anyway, but you just really need to pay attention to the top and the side. See how they're kind of the same? And then we'll come over here and do the same thing on this side. So I'm just going to lay it down. And with that liquid glue, depending on how much you've used, you have a second or two to, you know, kind of slide it around. And then I still feel like this is not quite. There we go. All right, now we're going to do a dry fit. This piece is going to run from the front to the back. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, well, and it's also going to be centered. So we want to put adhesive, and you want to make sure that it goes all the way down the bottom. But you want to put adhesive in this section only on the front. So I'm going to grab, I feel like it's just a habit for me with the other tip. So I'm just going to go, and you're going to go right in between. This is why we put these down first, because your glue, you don't want your glue to go past this right here. So see how I've got my glue on the inside of those? And then that way you know you put it in the right spot. And so then close this and close this, and you just want to make sure that that is centered, and then this piece is all the way down flush with the bottom. So because you want to make sure that your card is going to stand up. Okay, so there we go. And I don't have any adhesive in the wrong spot or oozing out. This is from putting that embossed piece on from earlier and missed getting a spot off. Okay, and then on the back, you're just going straight. Yeah. You're going to do the same thing, and this time you've got this piece as your guide. So you don't want to go out on the outside of either one of these. So you're just going to come in and you're going to go all the way down to the bottom. Start here at the top where you can really see this edge. And then you're just going to put glue all back here. And then you're just going to fold it up. And now this, if it hangs over the back, which it's fine because some did, some didn't, you're just going to clip it off. So if you have any hanging over, which there is a teeny bit, you can see it right here, I'm just going to snip that off, flush with the bottom of my card. Okay, and so now we're going to stand up just like that. All right, so we'll do the ribbon last. Let's get these pieces in here. So like I said, this has adhesive on there. I didn't punch out the pieces, and I told everybody at class, because when I went to go punch these out, it was pulling up the, see how it's pulling up the exposed, it was exposing the adhesive, and I was like, well, I can't really pack packages like that. So, but it's all cut. So if you just start to pull gently, pull this backing off, all of that pieces, and yours may have a few more than mine, or maybe, I don't know, but these are just going to come off. Just be gentle. It's a delicate cut, or die cut. It's got some small lines. You don't want to change the shape of it. And then this top one kind of fits right up here in this corner. And then the one that's diagonal from it on the left, it just kind of fits like right there. So, and it's not, it does not have to be perfect. So I'm just going to kind of line that up there, and then you can kind of rotate it a little bit. See how that kind of just lays down right there? You just don't want it to be hanging off. So then that's what it looks like. Pretty, right? And then I'm going to take my bone folder from the other side and give that a really good press with that adhesive. Really stick that down. Okay, now we've got dimensionals that we're going to put on this one, and I'm going to put them in the center because we're going to tuck everything else down underneath it. So we're going to take this off, and you can kind of dry fit. I like to dry fit, you know, let it kind of see where everything's going. So I want this to go about there. Maybe the center of the flower is semi in the center of the thing, but just whatever you think looks good. This is also going to get dimensional, and let's see. It's going to hang off on the right side a little bit, so I'm just going to take this edge. Am I on the right? Yeah. The right of the banner is going to hang off a little bit. Okay, so we can go ahead and do that one. And that's just going to touch the little flower so that it's kind of grounds it. It's connected and hopefully straight. All right, and then we've got, let's use glue dots for this because most of it's going to be covered. So we can do glue dots down here at the bottom, and it doesn't matter that they're exposed, that you can see them. We'll do here and then here. And then for the rest of it, you can do just a little bit. You could use your little tape runner too if you wanted, but I typically grab for liquid glue, and I'm painfully reminded that why I'm not squeezing, but okay. So I'm just doing my favorite little Terry Lynn phrase is dot, dot, dot. You don't need a lot. Okay, and then we're gonna take this and kind of just stick that. Now there might be a dimensional in the way that you have to maneuver it. I guess you could cut the stem too, but if I'm just trying to pick up the dimensional, there we go. Maybe put your leaf down first, or snip off the end. Okay, and then we're gonna take and these went down flat, so we're just gonna do a little glue at the base of these, because these are the dies. It cuts those slits in the paper, so you really don't want to use liquid glue. Plus, some of it's gonna hang off anyway. All right, so let's see. This one went right in here. And go over the leaf, under the leaf. It's definitely under the pink petal, and then kind of press that down. Now I'll probably go back in and add some more dimensionals once I've got everything down. And then this one I'm gonna tuck up under like this. And then this one that's kind of like the V, this one's gonna go down here. And I'm actually gonna grab my reverse tweezers to help me with this. And I'm gonna turn it. Well, we as crafters will always figure out a way to do something different if we're not able to do something the way we were been able to do it before, right? I'm definitely gonna figure out a way to still keep crafting. Nothing's gonna get me down. All right, so we still have to do the ribbon, but what I wanna do is, let's just tuck in a couple more dimensionals. So I'm just gonna take off the backing first. And I wanna put one right up in here. get that secured. And then I think I'm going to do one up in here. I'm just going to take the backing off first. And that one actually looks good. It was up here that needed, there we go. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's get those out of the way. And we're gonna have to do gems. So you'll have your 3 little gems in your envelope. And we used a big pink one up here. And then I used a little clear one. And you can use whatever you want. And then I used another little clear one down here. So you've got the pretty in pink and the strawberry slush in your card. So a combination of any of these is going to be beautiful. And we're going to use these for the next card. So we're going to save those over here. I'm going to move this empty bucket. And I'm going to grab my ribbon. So we're going to tie it on the card first, and then I'm going to show you a couple times on the block. And if I'm not able to do it, I will put it in my calendar to do it later after my wrist is healed. But we're going to try. I'm not going to do anything to hurt myself. So first thing you want to do is slide this up underneath that first fold, okay? And then, now I'm right-handed, and I know that some of my ladies that come to my class are left-handed. So I don't know, I'm not going to attempt to try to do something backwards at this point. But you know who you are, and I'm happy to always help you at class trying to figure out, you know, the best way for you to be able to be successful and your bows, and especially your knots. So, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ribbon from the left. It's in my right hand. And I'm going to go, we're going to crisscross it right over left. So right hand over left hand. And I'm going to loop that around. And as I'm doing that, the ribbon is twisting down. So I want to mimic that on the top. So I'm actually going to kind of twist this up. So it's the back sides of the ribbon is now face up. Okay, just like that. And then you're going to pull it taut, and you're going to put a finger right there. Okay, now you're going to bring down the top piece. Don't bring it down too taut, because we need to work with it. And I'm just going to kind of hold on to it like this. And then I'm going to take the tail that's on the bottom, and I'm going to cross over and tuck it through that loop that we just made. Okay. And I'm not going to start to pull it yet, because what I want to do is I want to switch to this finger now on my left hand. So we're going to change hands, same finger, and then you're only going to pull what's in your right, and you're just going to start to pull and see how this is a square knot starting to form. And right towards the end, when it's almost tight, you can let go of that knot and start pulling from the left and the right at the same time. And then that is a nice flat square knot. Okay, I'm not going to do it again on the card because I like the way that it looks. And then I'm just going to trim the ends and be done with our card. Okay, and then of course, you know, I'm going to leave them, they're a little long. And I think I have a little piece of glue residue on there. Okay, and then so now let's just, there we go. Okay, so here we go. So I might have gone up a little higher with this one, but that's okay. The important thing was knowing how to put the two pieces together and how to fold the base. So hopefully that helps you to be able to recreate this card. And if you have any questions about the assembly of it, just let me know. Okay, so that's card number 3. Now let's quickly, this is literally how I learned how to tie bows and how to tie knots. I practiced on a block, and I watched hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos, okay? So we're doing the same thing where we're coming in, we've got And it doesn't matter how much because we're not going to cut it off, all right? So give yourself a good length of ribbon that you can practice with. You don't, first of all, you don't want to be fighting with a piece of ribbon that's too short. So grab a bolt of retired ribbon and just grab a block and start practicing. So the first thing we're going to do is what's in my right hand that's coming off from the left is going to go on top of what's coming in from the right that's in my left hand. Okay, so we're going to do this little crisscross, and we're going to tuck this through. And as you're tucking it through, the back side of the ribbon is now exposed, so we want that to be the same with the top. So I'm going to kind of twist it like this. And maybe when you're watching it back, if you hit the gear wheel, you can slow down the playback, okay? If you need to slow it down, okay? So now we've got this, is what we have right now. And then this is where you're going to really press on that knot because this is what's going to keep it tight. Now, what's in your left hand still that's on top, you're going to bring that back towards you, okay? And then you're going to take this that's on the bottom and you're going to go up and then through that loop. Okay, so it looks like that. So we've gone over and tucked it in. Okay, and then as I'm going to be ready to pull, I'm just going to replace this finger with the same finger on the other hand, but I'm still holding this one. So we're just going to switch those, because then you're just going to pull what's in your right hand. Okay, and so there's that square knot forming, and then once it gets down to almost finished, you can kind of pull from both sides. And then of course you would. Okay, so let's do it one more time. And like I said, you can hit that gear wheel on the video and slow down the playback speed if you need to. So let's undo this and I'll just do it one more time. I don't want to keep you here forever. If you don't need to learn how to tie a knot, fast forward to the next card. We have one more card left. Let's see if I can get this undone. Come on. I pulled it too tight. Wasn't thinking. There we go. All right, so this is our card that we're wrapping around. And so I've got one piece coming this way and one piece coming this way. So grab the piece that's coming from the left, cross it over, tuck it through, and then twist the top piece to where now you've got the back sides of both pieces of the ribbon face up. You're going to hold down to this little section right here. This is going to swing back down towards you. Here you're going to go up, over, through, and just grab it. You're not really pulling anything yet. Then you're going to switch fingers and only pull what's in your right hand. Okay? And I'm not going to pull it as tight because I want to be able to get this back off. And then there's your flat knot. Okay? Maybe we'll do some more. You'll have to let me know if you guys want some more. That was a knot tying tutorial. A square knot tutorial. If you guys need more help with bows and stuff, I'm happy to help you. Yeah. Okay, so let's bring in our last card. We're using the Sweet Jar. Oh dear, I have to punch. Here's our card. Let me grab the punch because I don't think I grabbed it. This might be fun. If my card ends up with no jar on it, you'll understand why. You've got the finished card to look at, but we're going to try it. Okay, making sure nothing's tucked in the corners down there. Got my envelopes, okay? I've got my stamps. And this time we've got my Memento Black, Strawberry Slush, Garden Green. I do have the Sweet Jar bundle. And I've already pulled all the stamps. But there is the punch. And so this is our second of the fun folds. And this is how this one pops up. and just stands just like this. So cute. I love this card. It took me a little bit to figure it out, but this is my take on it. So we're just gonna leave that standing up just like that. Okay, so in the instructions, it explains all of the measurements, but basically you're just going to cut a card base that is 8.5 by 5.5. I'm going to go ahead and I want to crease that fold from the back just so it's easier. Okay, and then we just cut slits up the top, and these are going to end up glued down, and so then this becomes our easel. So you also have this scored piece that needs to be creased. Okay, all right, so you have a white, the largest of the white. So in my kits, when you get a piece of white that has a clipped corner, that means that this is intended for your stamping. Like if you're gonna stamp and punch it, or stamp and fussy cut it, or stamp and die cut it, whatever, it's intended to be for stamping because it's got that clipped corner. So this is gonna go on the inside. And you could have just cut a piece, but you know, this is just how I did it. All right, so we're gonna put this on the inside because there is no stamping directly on this piece. So we can go ahead and put this down like this. I could have probably also done a smaller piece, but that's okay. All right, now, I don't know how well this adhesive holds. Well, I think it'll be fine. So we're gonna glue, you're not gonna put any glue on that center tab. So you're gonna put your adhesive down these like little arms, if you will. And you wanna make sure that they line up on the edge and at the bottom. You want it to be crooked. So we're just using some adhesive down there, and then I'm making sure that I'm flush here and flush here. Okay, that center part is not adhered to anything. And then you have your two pieces of DSP. I don't remember the name of this one. Impressions of Bloom, maybe? We've got two of them that have the word bloom in them, and as hard as it is to remember stuff, they had to give us two papers that are both floral, so I have a hard time. It's in the supply list. I apologize. I've used both of them lately, and I think it is Impressions of Bloom because we're using Floral and Bloom for Card Club this month. So I'm going to pull this down and I'll show you Card Club for August. Registration is open, and we used the jar, and we used Floral and Bloom, and oh, the cards are so cute. Okay, now we've got our piece for stamping. This is where we're going to stamp our jar. So let's open up and do our stamping. Okay, so the jar itself, I stamped in Garden Green. I don't want to forget to show you that, but if I do, I'll link a video. I think I'll be fine. All right, and then we've got a jar lid, which looks to be on there kind of crooked. There we go. And the jar lid is going to go this way. I'm just going to do it up here at the top. That way you can do, if you were going to do another card, like, or another jar, you would be able to have enough room, okay, to do two. At Card Class, you do make two of each if you come in person, or you get it to go. This is just an extra way for me to offer the kits. free with purchase. Okay. And that ends on Sunday night. Nope, today is Sunday. I'm recording this. Oh yeah, you're going to see it on Tuesday. It ends on Sunday. And I believe that's August 3rd. Okay, so there's happy birthday. And then we have this label. And we have this sentiment that says, sending a little your way. So we're going to do that part of the sentiment in Memento. And we'll do party, because it's like a birthday party in a jar. Sending a little party your way. And it's a little crooked, but it's hard to see. And it's also off-centered, but it is what it is. I don't have another label. Okay, and then we need to stamp our candles. Okay, so in the set you have the trio of candles and the single candle. You also have two different candle flames. And so you have the 3 flames together, which goes with the 3 candles, and then you have the single one that's got these, like the little, I don't know, kind of a, whatever this design is. See how they're like glowing? And which also means that I need another ink pad. And I think I used Darling Duckling. So, because that's what's in the paper. Okay. Let me write myself a note for the PDF. I just had a scratch piece of paper right here. And of course, let me write it right here. Card 4, duck, ink. Just to double check that that's on there. Okay, so I'm going to take the strawberry slush and the 3 grouping of 3 candles, and I'm going to stamp that right in the middle of my jar. Not quite all the way to the bottom, but more to the bottom than the top, because you don't want your jar to cover your little flames. And then we're going to take Garden Green with the single candle, and I'm going to do 1 off to the left and then 1 off to the right. Like that. And then we've got Darling Duckling. So we've got the 3 flames that are going to line up like that. Ooh, look at that. Winning. And then we'll take the single one and have it go here and here. Okay. I'm going to close ink pads. All right, so I'm going to wait to punch that out. We're going to glue this arch, your white arch, to your Garden Green arch. Just like this. I love this card. I love the Coneflower card. I really liked sanding on that 2-tone cardstock. The fun fold was pretty fun. I think this might be my favorite. Okay, let's attempt it. Worst case scenario is I can't do it. But if you just line it up, and then I'm squeezing it just a little bit to get it to kind of to where the paper's not gonna move, and I'm gonna lay it on the table and stand up. My friend Seal taught me how to do it this way back when I was still having all the nerve pain before I had my neck surgery. So yeah, super helpful, because sometimes doing this motion it aggravates and can be painful. So let's see if we can do it with this one. So I'm kind of holding it up and pinching it a little bit just so the paper won't move. And then there we go. So maybe that helps you. My husband can close that for me. Okay. Oh, not bad. All right. Let's bring in teach the... I'm gonna do just I don't want to do liquid glue. We're gonna end up with dimensionals on the back, so I'm just gonna take and do a couple of glue dots just at the base of the lid, the bottom of the lid, and then put that on like that. And then, well, put it on like that. Okay. And then we're going to flip it over. Did I not get the glue? Oh, I didn't get the glue dot. That's why. There it is. It's still on the... Like, why is it not sticking? Let's see if I can salvage. There we go. And then... Ah, now it's sticking. Okay. And then... to secure that even further and to be able to set it down. Now you could cut a little dot, a little dimensional, and stick it on the little knob on the lid. Okay, and then this will end up like this, and I'm gonna grab, I know this is a lot of dimensionals, even for me. Let's grab some minis, and if I can locate my Take Your Pick tool, just because it is kind of wobbly, and I want it to be secure. So I'm gonna go ahead, and then also really secures that lid there too. And then you can take, look, I already have something cut right here. I'm just gonna take a little piece of dimensional and put it right there. So extra, Darlene, so extra. Okay. All right, so now we can take off the backings. And this is going to go centered left to right, but then near the bottom. And then this one is going to get the banner part, the very ends are going to hang off, so make sure you don't go quite to the end, but then I do want some support in the middle. This is going to go on the top here. How you like it. Okay. And then we're going to get this one ready. See if I can, nope. I was going to say there's one on the back here, and I don't think that it's salvageable, but let's just peel it off because it keeps sticking to everything. This one we're just going to do two like this, okay? And this is going to be our stopper where our little easel to kind of rest, okay? So we need to put glue all over just the bottom from the middle, from the score line down, and you're going to cover the whole thing because the Everyday Arches die covers this whole. I measured it out. Is how I determined how to cut these, was how wide the arch was that I wanted to use. And I'm fixing to sneeze. Excuse me. Excuse me. My goodness. Okay. And thank you. Okay. Now this is going to go all the way down to the bottom and kind of centered. I'll show you what the back of it looks like once I get it down. I'm going to make sure that it's kind of just stand it up and make sure that it's flush with that bottom edge. And then you can just barely see it just hangs over just a smidge on either side, and that's okay. All right, so now you can peel the backings off of this guy. I'm going to grab my tweezers again to help me. It's a shame I stamped that crooked, well, and off to the left, but that's okay. Just to determine how, do you want it to kind of sit like that? Would you rather it sit a little more up? And then that's where, wherever you want it to sit, that's where you're gonna lay down this piece. And this is gonna be centered right to left. And then just press those dimensionals down. Okay, make sure that's all glued down. And then now that sits up just like that. So fun, right? How fun to give it to somebody that works at a desk where other people would be walking by and be like, oh my God, that's so cool. So, yeah, we might do this fun fold for a Christmas class, the Christmas card. I think that would be fun. Okay, now in your kit, you have some more of the gems, and I'm gonna take a large strawberry slush, so it's the darker pink, and I put one here, and then I used 2 of the smaller ones. So we'll put one here, and we'll put one up here, and that is it. So here we go. All right, so let me do a quick recap, and then I'm going to show you Club Create for August. So we have our like Fun Fold pop-up easel card, and then we have our Fun Fold front center step card. Okay, and then we have the technique where we sanded the two-tone cardstock. So we did one side light, one side dark. And then we also have where we masked off and did our coloring with the blending brushes. So I would love to know which one is your favorite. And if you want a card kit to make one of each of these cards, you'll get the envelopes, you'll get the ribbon, the twine, and the gems that you need for your card. All you have to do is place an order in my online store of at least $60 before tax and shipping. So after any rewards that you use, your subtotal needs to be $60, please. And you're going to get the envelopes, the 4 card kits, and everything that you need to create the cards. It also comes with that inspiration sheet that has the measurements and the supplies so that you'll know what I used and you'll be able to recreate these. And then you'll just need to place that order by Sunday night, August 3rd, and I will mail those out. I got 3 kits ready to go. So those would go out. I wake up Monday and see who has placed an order, and I'll get those out to you on my way to my surgery by Tuesday morning at the latest. Okay, so let me take these away for just a second and let me show you my Club Create. This is my class by mail. It's a subscription each month, and it's $45. That includes the shipping to you. And here's that other paper that we're using, the Florals in Bloom. Florals in Bloom. We used the opposite side, the B side, if you will. And I keep putting all of the other supplies away. So you're gonna get the 1/4 inch white ribbon. You'll get a full bolt of that. You're also gonna get the neutral matte dots. You'll get a full package of those. And then here are the 4 cards. So here's our Fun Fold. So we use the arches again. This time we're letting our love flow. And here it is in pinks and purples. Got Secret C with the cookies, and then this fun masculine-ish happy birthday card. And then so you're going to make 2 of each of these. You'll get all 8 envelopes, half a pack of paper cut down to 6 by 12, the full bolt of ribbon, and the neutral matte dots. And that includes shipping. It's $45. You can sign up for the subscription. It's through PayPal, and your card is charged the same day every month. So if you signed up on the 27th of July, that would be for August kit, and then on August 27th your card would charge for September. So the subscription period runs from the 21st of the month through the 20th of the month. So July 21st through August 20th is the subscription period to get that current month, which is August. I also have a link that will take you to the blog post that talks about Club Create, and you can also just try it out for a month. If you don't want to subscribe, that's fine too. You just pay a little bit more and I think it's $4 more. Yeah, so it's like $49, and you can just try it out for a month and see how you like it. It comes with PDF. It comes with a video. In fact, I just recorded the video. Club Create for July is getting mailed in the morning. And I'm so excited. So I hope that you'll click the link in the video to go to place an order to get the my Stampin' Create for July kit. Want to make one of each of these. I hope you'll click the link and do some shopping with me. I so appreciate that. And then also click the link to find out about my Club Create for August. If you have any questions about anything, let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye.